Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Arthur Robinson Jr. I'm the creator and the host of the Powerful Interviews podcast. And today I have another special interview for each and every one of you. Today I have a wonderful person on the show. He's a great friend of mine. His name is Cherif Medawar. And for those that don't know Cherif, let me explain to each and every one of you about this incredible, phenomenal man. Cherif Medawar is a real estate fund manager, investor, and educator. Cherif Medawar has over $100 million of assets under management in his personal portfolio. Cherif Medawar, he specializes in corporate guarantees, and he also specializes in real estate syndications. He also has a JV program, and his portfolio includes hotels, Airbnb, mixed-use commercial real estate, senior housing, luxury homes, and much, much more. And that is an awesome, impressive resume. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome the one, the only, the powerful Cherif Medawar to the show.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you. I feel like I'm coming to the arena like, yeah.
I'd like to thank you, Cherif, for taking time out of your busy schedule to educate me and the audience worldwide about high-end commercial real estate deals and about corporate guarantees. I gladly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
To everyone that's listening and watching, I highly recommend go and get your pen and your pad right now. My great friend Cherif Medawar is going to break down layman's terms about corporate guarantees, and we're going to talk about high profitable commercial real estate deals. Is that correct, Cherif?
That is correct.
Now, what I'd like to know, and can you explain to the audience in layman's terms, who is the powerful Cherif Medawar? How long you been in your powerful industry, and what is your expertise?
Well, thank you. Let me first define the word power. Power is really a condition of being able to do three things: taking full responsibility, having the knowledge, and staying in control. Now, control is not a bad word. Control is being able to really make things happen by starting them, changing them, changing the speed, the intensity, whatever you want to change, slow it down, etc., and stopping whenever you want to stop. So if somebody's fully responsible, it's not going to blame anybody else. It's not going to say, oh, I'm not involved in this. I didn't know somebody else did this. Take full responsibility and have all the knowledge needed to get things done and control the process from A to Z. That's a condition of power. So when have I started that? In the early 80s, I was working in a hotel. I wanted to become a hotel manager, and I was taking full responsibility. I was learning a lot, and I was taking as much action to control all what I'm doing in the hotel at the Century Plaza Hotel in Los Angeles, California. A billionaire, very wealthy man in the name of Edmond Bessari, which at the time you can count billionaires on two hands, came to me in the hotel lobby and said, listen, I've been watching you work 10, 11 hours a day. Come and work for me. So when I went to work for him, I made the decision on the spot, having faith in God that this is the right thing for me. Things worked out great. I worked for him for 8 years, and my level of knowledge, my willingness to take more responsibility and control more in my life took me to another level. So I can say I can start it in that process of being in power to actually make things happen in the world of finance and relationships in 1989. So it's been a long journey, really. Think about it, it's like over 30 years now. Really hard to believe. I still have so much energy and so much excitement about what's coming next. So that's how I started, really. I was just at the right place at the right time. And I realized that God puts us always at the right place at the right time. All we have to do is make the most of where we are and what we know and what we do and keep growing.
Now, you are mesmerizing audiences about corporate guarantees. Yes. Now, take me back down memory lane. Who was Cherif Medawar at 10, 11, 12 years old? Was you always entrepreneurial, or did you develop the abundance mindset over a period of time?
Okay, you clicked off a little bit the internet. Maybe it's from my side. It was a bit unstable, so I missed the middle of the question. Repeat the question, please.
Who was Cherif Medawar at 10, 11, 12 years old? Was you always entrepreneurial, or did you build your abundance mindset over a period of time?
Well, okay, so I went to the Jesuit school. I am half Egyptian, half French.
Mhm.
So I was in Cairo and went to the Jesuit school. I'm Catholic. So it's a Catholic school with intensive classes. We used to start 8 in the morning till 4 p.m. And when we would go home, we had a lot of homework. So we learned to be very focused and driven. And at age 13, I was already envisioning myself being a general manager of a hotel. I loved hotel business. I thought it's the best thing in the world. It's so much fun. You're helping people, you're contributing, you're learning. It's like a little world by itself. So I remember I used to sit at a desk and would put a little thing in front of the desk, say Cherif Medawar, hotel general manager. And I would just play the role and play games with that. And later on, I realized my uncles were in Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles making a lot of money in real estate. And my father had the intention to move to LA as soon as I finished high school or something. And so I started thinking, oh, maybe I should do real estate and hotels. But really the opportunity presented itself after I went to the States and I started working in a hotel when I met the billionaire. It's like you almost put it in your mind, this is what I'd like to do. This is what I'd like to learn and do more of. And then life presents something to you and you realize, oh my God, this is what I'm looking for. Mm. And so that's how it just came about. When we talk about mindset, I'm always, if you have the mindset that you want to learn and you think of three things really as the keys to success. One being getting the knowledge, because you can't do much if you don't know what's going on out there. And you cannot just keep trying and failing and trying and failing because time will run out. We have only finite time in life. So the knowledge is acquired by observation, being in the right place and observing, asking questions, looking for the answers within you, because the spirit knows. We as spirits, we know. And we just have to ask ourselves, why is this happening this way? Why is this person asking me that? How come this person did it this way? Let me ask them. Now, a lot of people are not willing to tell you. When you acquire knowledge, one of the three things you need, a lot of people are not willing to share. So I have to share something with them so they feel like they want to reciprocate. So I had to grow my own value. I had to learn more to tell people, you know, you can save in taxes this way or that way. And then people say, this is interesting. You know that I do it this way because this is, so now there was an exchange of value. So number one is the knowledge. Number two is the action. I was willing to take action. I was working not 8 hours a day, not 10 hours a day. I was working 15 and 20 hours a day. It was crazy. I would sleep 4 hours and go back to work in the hotel and learn more from the front desk to housekeeping to food and beverage, etc. So knowledge, action, and the third most important element that people miss was to network. So the more I knew, the more I was willing to take action, the more I was able to strategically network with people who were successful and willing to share. And the way that I was getting them to be willing to share is I was providing value. I would say things like, I'm willing to work harder for you. Would you be interested to do this and that? When the billionaire noticed how hard I worked, he approached me not because I was a nice guy. He noticed how hard I worked. And his first thing he told me was, I see you working 10, 11 hours a day. Are you crazy? What are you trying to accomplish here? And I said, sir, I am 20 years old. I think if I work hard, they told me I can become a hotel general manager. I'm a management trainee. Look at my name tag. It's a golden name tag. It's not the regular one. And he looked at me, he's like, are you crazy? Come and work for me. You're working hard. I'm going to show you what nobody can show you. Speak on my behalf, travel on my behalf. I don't want to travel so much, but I got so many deals. I need somebody I can trust who has the enthusiasm and energy. And at that time, I realized I didn't have the knowledge. I was so young. I said, sir, I don't know much about real estate. He said, if you're willing to learn and willing to apply exactly what I tell you to do, you will survive and prosper. I made the decision on the spot. So the journey of making it doesn't stop. It's not like today, I'm going to say, okay, I've made enough money. I have a lot of passive income and all this, so I'm not going to do much. No, I enjoy the game. So I keep doing more. I keep learning more, contributing more through action, and networking more and more and more. And you network by offering people something. You offer them time, you offer them knowledge, you offer them connection, you offer them credit, you offer them money. Today I contribute I have my own real estate funds, and I have investors and students that come and join me because they say, if I can invest with you, I know you have the knowledge, the connection, the credit, and you're doing so much that I will receive my cash flow without the hassles, with a certain level of security. And that's when you no longer pursue, you start attracting. And that's when the game changes. But it's always a game, and the game has the purpose, which is the goals, the freedom, which is to decide and to travel and to make things happen, and the obstacles, those who are gonna fight you, the situations that are not gonna go your way, and all this. Those are the elements of the game. And if you play the game to enjoy the game and to win, you will not get too frustrated when the obstacles happen and problems and situations that kind of derail you a little bit, because you will find that the game itself is fun. And if you keep that mentality, you're playful, you're creative, and it takes you to a spiritual level. So the physical universe of time problems, distance problems, money problems, and space problems, etc., all these get disintegrated because you have an imagination and ideas and creativities to be able to approach problems. Instead of just avoiding them or solving them, you transform them into opportunities. And it's all a matter of being playful with it and not getting too serious or too stressed out about it.
Now, you talked about power, and also you talked about leverage. So when you connected with the billionaire, and the billionaire basically seeing that you was eager to learn, he basically wanted to give you the blueprint of how you can excel to the next level, but as long as you took massive action to get to the next level. And
Yes.
then you also,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
then you also mentioned that word energy.
Yes.
Now, let's have a conversation about money, because I feel as though that money is simply energy.
Yes.
Money is not value. Money is just a facilitator to do transactions. Can you explain to the audience, how would you define money?
Okay, well said. This is a great question. So money is an exchange based on trust. I trust I'm going to give you some money, you're going to do something. So it's an exchange. If you exchange with people in abundance, meaning I'm willing to give you a lot more than you ask or what you paid for, I'm going to attract you to do the same. And what if I exchange with somebody and they don't reciprocate? Then it is my job to clarify what I expect back. You see, if you exchange with somebody money for service, money for product, or something like this, money for time or something, and you don't get back, all you have to do is blame yourself, because that's taking responsibility. So what I do is I tell people, okay, we're going to do this. This is what I'm going to do for you. And this is what I expect you to do back. The more you clarify and assign, the less headaches you're going to have to enforce and get results. Usually a relationship between two people is based on an exchange of values. And there are 4 levels of exchange if you think about it. There is the fair exchange. I pay for this, they give me that. That's a fair exchange. A higher level will be an exchange in abundance. I pay for this, they give me more. Then I want to give them more, and now it feeds on itself. A lower level will be I paid and I got less than I paid for. That's an unfair exchange. The lowest level is I paid and I got nothing. That's fraud. So if I put in my mind always that I want to exchange and give abundance to people, money will flow in. Because money is nothing other than a measure of what services have I provided. Have I given them what they want? Have they produced results? Am I able to actually create a bigger pie and serve people better? Now, not many people are willing to build these relationships, because you have relationships with yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about God, how you feel about others, and relationships with businesses. Can I create this endeavor? Can I get it done within time, money, and results that I want? Because everything has to be done within certain parameters. If I'm able to do that and people are involved with me and they get paid, everybody's happy. They want to do more projects with me. But if I'm trying to take without thinking of what I'm giving first, that exchange is going to be imbalanced. So money is an exchange based on faith and trust. And the idea to actually build that trust and grow it is by exchanging first and giving first. I'm thinking, what can I give to attract them? How can I give more to get them to stay and grow? Because the relationship is based on 3 things. You create it, you nurture it and grow it, and you fix it, because periodically the relationship is going to break down. Somebody's going to go tell him or her something about me, and they're going to be a third-party instigator, and I have to fix that, and I have to show truth. I have to be transparent. Even relationship with my wife, with my kids, with my partners, with my investors, that is a constant effort, but that effort is not too much draining you if you're being positive and truthful to the cause and being transparent. Because energy, you can put it out and feel great when you're done, or it can drain you out because you're not doing things ethically, or you're trying to hide something. There's nothing to hide. If I'm not being 100% truthful, I don't want to do it. Life is too short to try to play games and hide around any situations. And that's where energy feeds on itself. And like you said so eloquently, money is energy, because if somebody's sitting on a couch watching Netflix and I tell them, hey, listen, somebody want to give you $1 million right now, you're going to set up your own fund and you're going to raise capital, and they're willing to write a check for $1 million. That guy is not going to be sitting on the couch. That lady's not going to be watching Netflix. She's going to be out there saying, oh my gosh, I need to know, how can I find a good deal? How can I cash flow it? How can I do the money safely? How much can I pay them? Can I pay? All of a sudden the energy level goes up. I've seen people going through foreclosure. We approached them. We said, we're going to cash you out so much money. You're going to clean up your credit, do this. Would you agree? All of a sudden, the next day I go see them, ready to sign the documents. They're excited. They're standing up. They're no longer sitting down like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. They're excited. They're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move to Florida. I'm doing that. I'm moving to Kansas. It's like all of a sudden new goals, new things happening.
You said money is an exchange. So
Yes.
Money is a byproduct of the value that you uncover?
Yes. And it's actually money. It's not money that we're after. We're after the product of the product. When I ask my students in my events or my investors, why do you want to make money? Do you know 9 out of 10 are telling me they want to make money to help mom. I want to make money to help my kids. I want to make money to help my little brother or sister. Or all of a sudden you realize how good the world is, that a lot of people want to make money to help somebody else. And maybe 1 out of 10 want to make money because they feel it's like revenge. You know, I've been treated badly and I want to prove to people. And it's like, okay, but as soon as they start making money and they cover their expenses, they start loving everybody back. They start relaxing. At least those are the people I've met. If people who make money unethically, they self-implode, they self-destruct. You don't see in a movie a drug dealer making millions of dollars is happy and want to help the world. You see him want to kill somebody, want to punch somebody, want to go after somebody. They're always self-imploding, self-destructing. So yeah, money is definite energy. It's an exchange. And the right way to do it is to provide with abundant services, products, and things that help others. And in life, you can't help giving unless you receive. You don't want to give to take or give to receive. You give out of faith. But just it's a kind of universe, because things have to even out. It's just the way it works in life. If you're very negative, so you're positive and negative in every individual, it's just they even out. If you become too negative with somebody, you're giving out some of your negativity. Guess what? More negativity will come to you to even out. If you give out a lot of positivity, you're down on the positivity level, more positive stuff comes to you. People start saying nice things to you and want to work with you. Positivity even out. It's just the way the universe works. It's positive and negative, big and small, in and out, etc., etc. And once you understand that, you're going to be more positive and want to give more, because you will even out and get more. And as you grow in a positive way, it feeds on itself. I love your question. I actually, you make me think and express myself on a totally different level. It's not just about the money at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I love providing value to people. And, you know, I love, you know, really expressing to people, become the better version of yourself.
Well said.
And when I, you know, invite, you know, business leaders on my show, they provide a lot of value in regards to what they specialize in. And I was looking at one of your outside the box webinars, and I see that you're connected with a great friend of mine, Steve Forbes, the owner of Forbes Media.
Yes.
And I see that you actually co-authored a book with him called Successonomics. How did it all come about with formulating that relationship with Steve Forbes?
Well, so what happened, believe it or not, I wrote my sister, who is a doctor in Los Angeles, one of my nephews, her oldest son was gonna go to college. So she said, Cherif, can you write something to him? He respects you so much. Write something to him. They're gonna read it in the class. Everybody has a parent, a family member writing something. So I started thinking, I said, how can I really give him something impactful? So I wrote the steps to success. So I wrote it for him, and it just came out to be 12 steps, like how I made it. So for example, like first step is you get a job to learn leadership, and you learn this, this, and that. The second one is you start saving and building credit, and how you do that. How do you build credit? Under your name, under a company name. Number three, how you actually start investing and making money. What's the first step to do? Do you flip assets? Do you just buy and hold? What do you do? So I explained how it's done, and then next level, and how do you have asset protection? How do you reduce taxes legally? So I wrote 12 steps to total amazing leaving a legacy, and you could be done by age 40, if you will, in a very high level of income. I mean, like beyond belief. So when I sent it to him, he contacted me back, said this was amazing. They loved it in the class. They had us read it twice. People wanted copies, etc. And I said, is it okay if I put it as a blog, one of my blogs? He said, okay. So I put the blog out there, and a couple of days later, I got a call, and they said, oh, this is from Steve Forbes' office, and we're very interested in having you. Steve Forbes want to talk to you and would like you to co-author a book with him, because you can elaborate on these, and this is just phenomenal. And would you be willing to come to New York and speak to the audience in the New York Marriott Marquis? And I thought somebody is pranking me. I said, this is somebody I know trying to play a game. It's like, Steve Forbes' office in New York? Yeah, sure. Send me the tickets. Here's my email. Yeah, let's do it. 5 minutes later, I get an email. Here is the address. We needed to be at that day, this time, and contact this person. And I called back, and sure enough, I went to New York, met Steve Forbes. And we co-authored that book. Actually, there are some other people as well. I have a whole chapter, which was the longest chapter, and did the video about it on YouTube, the 12 steps and all this. And, you know, I have also another book called Blue Ocean Opportunities in Commercial Real Estate, where I explain to people about the corporate guarantees, how you can get these big tenants and they give you corporate guarantees, and it guarantees the lease for 10, 15 years. So I try to share as much as possible, and Steve Forbes noticed that these 12 steps were very succinct and very clear, and anybody can follow them.
Yes, actually, when we connected, I did a business meeting in New York City, and me and Steve Forbes started to collaborate and had a powerful conversation right there in the hotel.
Great.
And he was like, what do you do? And I told him, you know, I interview powerful people all over the world on my podcast show. He was like, oh, you know what? Let's collaborate. And I already knew his personal assistant, and I landed the interview, and he has provided a lot of tremendous value to me, and I provided a lot of tremendous value to him just through the power of relationships. So your network is very, very key when it comes to excelling to the next level.
Very true. Very true. And actually, when I was a kid, I used to read about his father, because he had a castle in France, and the billionaire Edmond Bessari, who I worked for, had a castle in France. And Malcolm Forbes, who's the father, used to ride these Harley motorcycles. It was like a real wild guy, you know, so it was always interesting. We chatted a little bit about his dad and all this.
Now, Cherif, you have over a $100 million portfolio in single tenant corporate guarantees, high-end commercial real estate deals. Yeah. Can you explain to the audience so they fully understand what is single tenant high-end real estate deals, and what exactly is corporate guarantees, and how people can generate real money by pursuing those real estate endeavors?
Okay, so let me give you the steps of how I do it. So I actually train people even to do this. So I tell people, okay, go find me a single tenant building, which is a standalone, which is called also freestanding building, that can accommodate like Jack in the Box, Starbucks, Subway, Fat Burger, Miami Grill, any of these companies that are standalone buildings. You'll find plenty of these buildings sitting vacant in any market in the US. small town, big town, you'll find a single tenant building standalone, empty, vacant. When it's vacant, it has a lower value than when it's occupied with a tenant that's a national tenant that has signed a lease for 10 or 15 years and is going to pay rent for so many years. So obviously, if the value is usually $1 million, if a big tenant is in it, when it's sitting vacant, it can go for 500, 600,000, 700,000, actually whatever you can negotiate. So the way we do it is I tell my students, go find a single tenant building. I train them on the 15 criteria needed. And I'll give you some example. We want them in a busy traffic street. We want it to be a second generation, third generation food operator. That means another food tenant was there. So it's set up for food operation. We like it with a drive-through. We like good neighboring tenant. There is 15 criteria that we look for. And you don't have to have the 15 criteria in one building. You have to have as many as possible because that attracts the national tenants. So once they identify one in their own backyard, I tell them exactly what to tell the broker to take them seriously. Whoever listed the property, they can call and say, I'm working with Cherif Medawar with this fund called SFI Fund, Secured Fixed Income Fund. And we are actually doing this, or MIXIF Fund. They have two funds, MIXIF Medawar International Group Secured Income Fund. And I am working on behalf of the fund, and we're going to send you proof of funds that we have millions in cash, and we're willing to buy this property all cash. But our price is going to be, let's say, 600,000 all cash. We close in less than 60 days. Well, the listing broker want to sell. Maybe they listed at 750. They're going to say, all cash, you're going to close in less than 60 days. No need for appraisal or anything. We'll send you the contract. The listing broker is happy. They're going to make a bigger commission because they represent the listing seller and the buyer coming in. So we have that to our advantage. We put it under contract with the proof of fund. And now I give them a list of 4,500 plus national tenants, who to contact, the phone number, the size of space they want, who they want to be next to. And they can actually start smiling and dialing and calling these tenants and saying, I have this location in Dallas, Texas, or I have this location in Fort Lauderdale or in San Jose, California. And this is the size, and this is the traffic. And there is a specific things. I give them a script, and we have it in writing. We have even a website with all the steps that they have to take. And they leave messages. They send a little email with a little video, etc. And all we need is one tenant to call back. Because when we put it under contract, when the student working with me, doing this joint venture with me, they put it under contract for 45 days for due diligence. There is no obligation to buy the building for 45 days. You're with me? Mm. And we have another 15 days to close all cash. So during the 45 days, they start smiling and dialing and leaving voicemail messages, sending emails. And once one tenant emails back and say, I'm interested to talking more about this with the bullet points of leasing it, I get on the call with my student who lined up the deal, and I negotiate what's called the letter of intent to lease. We get a national tenant that wants to sign for 10 to 15 years with escalation, 3% per year, with corporate guarantee. That means that lease is guaranteed by the entire corporation that's usually publicly traded, not just by mom and pop operation, one tenant. It's a tenant that has, like Subway is worth $3.8 billion. They have over 33,000 locations. We're working with them on a location in Fort Lauderdale. Their corporate guarantee is worth billions of dollars. And it's triple net, meaning the lease is signed and the tenant pays the lease net of taxes. They pay the property tax, net of insurance. They pay the property insurance, net of maintenance. They maintain the property. So how beautiful is this? Now, sometimes I negotiate with them. Okay, we're going to give you a couple months free rent. I'll give you 50,000 or 100,000 towards tenant allowance, tenant improvement, because the tenants got to come in. They may want to put new AC. They may want to put the new flooring or whatever. So I contribute that. But the property we got under contract at 600,000. When that tenant comes in now and is paying whatever, 60,000 a year, 70,000 a year in rent, the value of the property goes up to $1 million or $1.1 million. Why does it jump so high before we even close? Because we have a letter of intent from a tenant that says, I'm going to be paying you so much per month. I'm committed to 10 to 15 years. I'm going to pay escalations. I will pay the triple net fees. That means all other expenses. And I give you a corporate guarantee, and I'm publicly traded. You take that contract, you're going to buy the property at 600, and you take that letter of intent from the tenant and you go to the commercial loan division of any bank and you say, I want to buy this building. They say, okay, the underwriter will call Subway or will call Dunkin' Donuts or Popeyes or whoever it is, we're going to confirm, we're going to give you the loan. Now, I buy them all cash. So they assign it to my fund. And that $600,000 deal that now became $1 million or $1.1 million, that upside is 400 to 500,000. When we close, 600,000 all cash comes from my fund. The property becomes worth $1 million. So there is 400,000 increase in value. I pay the students, the joint venture partners, $40,000. That's like 10% of the upside. If it's going up to $1.1 million, I pay them 10% of that $500,000 increase. That's $50,000. If the tenant, we're able to get them to sign for 15 years, that 400,000 upside, I don't pay 10% only, I pay 25% because the value is there. We can flip them very quickly. So on the 400,000, I pay them 100,000. Can something go wrong? Let's talk about what can go wrong. My joint venture partner student puts it under contract, representing my fund. They got to put 5,000 of their own money as earnest money deposit. That's never at risk. It's refunded back to them within 45 days. Even when they assign to me, I give them back that 5,000. During the 45 days, if no tenant responded for 44 days, they can get back the 5,000 refunded because they canceled the contract. There's no downside. There's a huge upside. So that program has been very, very successful. We have hundreds and hundreds of success stories on YouTube. Actually, total, I have over 2,000 videos on YouTube with success stories from investors, from partners, from students. I'm very proud of that. So that's the corporate. Sorry, it took me like 5 minutes to explain this, but it's just such an important strategy because it made me millions of dollars. I became very wealthy doing this in many parts of the country, but specifically in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico. I started realizing the cruise ships arrive. People get off the cruise ship. This is a U.S. territory, and they walk in front of the cruise ships. That is just the port area has all these buildings, historic buildings. They walk up and down the streets. And I said, wait a minute, if I put these properties under contract and I call the big tenants, they're going to come in and lease. And they're going to give me corporate guarantees. They're going to be leased for 10, 15 years. I took buildings at $2, $3 million, put the big tenants in at $20,000 a month. The buildings went up in value to 5, 6 million. I was making millions of dollars, refinancing, cashing out, buying more buildings. I ended up becoming the largest historic commercial owner in Puerto Rico, which is practically in the US because this is the oldest historic zone in the US. And my fund was created in 2009 to help students who want to partner with me on these, help investors who want to invest in this. And we've just grown exponentially since.
Wow. Now, your commercial real estate transactions, your structuring with corporate guarantees and single tenants is different than the other active, real estate investors in the commercial mixed use space. Yes. Now, you talked about corporate guarantees. You talked about putting, those commercial properties under contract where once you put them under contract, it goes from 600,000 to over $1 million. So the value just increase, exponentially.
Yes.
And your style is totally different than, other commercial real estate gurus where they teach about, making real money in apartment investing. Yeah. How is that different from apartment investing versus corporate guarantees?
Okay, so corporate guarantee, you're getting a single tenant. You put them in, all the work is done before we buy the property, or we don't buy the property. See the difference? And once we commit with the tenant, we know how much it's going to cost us. That upside from 600 to $1 million may cost me really another 100,000 for tenant improvement and free rent and all that. So it goes for me for 700 plus paying an assignment fee of another 50K or so. So from 750 to $1 million, that's $250,000 instant increase in value on a $700,000 purchase. And right after the tenant comes in, I can refinance, cash out my entire 700. So it's infinite rates of returns for my fund, for my investors. We can even sell them, roll the money forward. We have a tax incentive program. I only pay 15% flat on profits. It's a whole other program. We even help investors reduce their taxes to 15%. Now, when we get into multi-units, which nothing wrong about multi-units, by the way, this is another business concept. Multi-units will require that I have to do some rehab, ongoing. I have to do marketing, ongoing. Every time tenant leaves, I have to get another tenant, renter. I have to have a lot of management staff. I have to have a profit and loss statement ongoing. Just the due diligence that I have to do for an apartment building will blow your mind away. Now, I like apartment buildings. I like hotels more than apartment buildings. And I like assisted living facilities more than hotels, even though hotels was always my love. And having like a resort with multiple streams of income from the resort itself, from the rooms, from the food and beverage, from other services, it's just a dream structure. But assisted living facilities have the best profit and loss statement. I am actually growing into that. It's added to my fund. We're going to close on the first deal, first quarter 2021. And that will add to the diversification of my real estate fund, where we have joint venture for the single tenant buildings. We have luxury homes in San Francisco. We have mixed use properties and corporate guarantees in Puerto Rico. And we're going to have assisted living facilities. So the ongoing management and marketing and finance that we have to keep for these multi-units is not for everybody. A lot of people think like, oh my God, I can get into apartment building. I'm gonna make a lot of money because if I can get 50 units, each one pay me $1,000, I'm gonna make 50,000. Well, wait a minute. After you pay for staff, maintenance, and all the expenses that can come with it, you may not be cash flowing as you think. And you have to have a constant management and paying attention. And even if you put a management company, you still have to manage the management company. So it can be draining compared to single tenant, where I put the tenant once, and once they're in, I don't have to do anything for 10, 15 years. I've had properties since like really the portfolio started in 2004, where I bought these properties. I have Coach, I have Tommy Hilfiger, I have Guess, I have, we had Burberry, we have, actually we just signed Anita Gelato, this is an Israeli company. It has over 100 locations nationwide. I don't have to do anything. As a matter of fact, with Anita Gelato, for instance, we negotiated part of the lease. They gave me $10,000 free food and ice cream and all this whenever I can use it in the next 10 years. So every time I see people or a school coming by, all the kids, hey, everybody come over, I buy you ice cream. Everybody's like, hey, this is great stuff, you know? So I like these a lot. Much, much easier, much simpler.
So those big brands that you just mentioned, where you develop those relationships, those are the single tenants.
Yes. Yeah. Single tenant. Yes.
Wow. That's absolutely incredible.
Thank you. And I like mixed use. Like I have a building that has downstairs commercial and upstairs 12 luxury units. So it's an apartment building, mixed use. We just actually converted it all, took advantage of this COVID-19 situation, converted it all to Airbnb. And believe it or not, I mean, here we are, what month? We're in August 2020, right? Doing this interview now, it's August, what are we today? August 19, 2020, right?
Right.
We converted all the units, 11 units. There is one tenant that's going to leave. Once she leaves, we'll convert her unit as well. So the whole thing, we furnished it. All the units are going to be Airbnb. And already for the last 6 weeks, we've been sold out every weekend. So just with the selling out on the weekend, I'm making more net profit than when I was as extended stay, normal leasing of apartment building. Why? Because the location is key. I'm in an exotic location. It's an awesome building, fully furnished, and it's a historic building. People stand outside to take pictures. And downstairs, I have the commercial. So downstairs, I have the triple net steady income, $10,000 a month. And upstairs, I have all this. The building, I got it $2.5 million. It's worth right now $5.2 million just from the net income. So that is taking a property to its highest and best use. And I have somebody in charge of the Airbnb operation, because you always want to put people so you can step back and do the fun part. The fun part for me is raising capital, deploying the capital, training my students to raise capital, to deploy capital. They can even co-sponsor with me, like do co-syndications with me, or they can do joint ventures, like finding these single tenant buildings and assigning them to the fund and getting paid with no downside, no risk. I do the trainings myself directly. They come and meet me like once every 5-6 weeks. I get like 6-7 students from somewhere around the country, train them. I do these interviews to impart the knowledge. I give a lot of information free, and I like to train, and I like your questions because they're geared toward training people and making them understand the potential out there.
Yes, absolutely. When you were talking about, the leverage of investing in apartment buildings, you have to do your due diligence, profit and loss statements, and then you have to, basically hire a real estate company that's going to manage your assets under that asset column with apartments. And I
Exactly.
know that, when you increase your NOI, the net operating income, you will increase the value to that commercial property. So that's
Yes.
huge for people that want to get into that genre of investing.
Yes.
But what you're doing with corporate guarantees, nobody is actually teaching it. It's very profitable. I know the whole blueprint has been around for years, but actually God has gotten into
Yes.
you, and you capitalize on that opportunities. For going into the future, do you see yourself like building a corporate guarantee institution for people that want to get involved in that type of investing?
Yes, we do joint venture training.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, people can contact our office, and they can actually reach out to my team. We have an office in Orlando, Florida, even though the fund is set up in California, and I spend a lot of time in Puerto Rico, but I travel a lot. They call our team in Florida, and they say, I want to be part of the joint venture program. And we give them a full training. Everything is online. I mean, literally, I filmed myself doing all the trainings section by section, how to find the properties, how to talk to the brokers, how to analyze the numbers, how to actually use the proof of fund, how to actually analyze the what tenants to put in that location, how to talk to the tenants, how to prepare a package for them, how to negotiate with me when you get on the call, when we negotiate the LOI, to understand the 9 bullet points I negotiate, how we actually do the visit with the tenant when the designer comes in to visit, and how we close and they get paid, and what I do afterwards. So it's really 10 steps, and I do the full training in one day. I used to do the training for 2 days, and then I realized, wait a minute, what's the 20% that's most important in each section? And now the training is like amazing. I mean, people come out within 90 days, they get a deal done. And all I want them to do is just follow the steps. Don't change a word. Don't change anything on the email I give you. They're communicating directly with me. And every day I dedicate some time of my day to respond to the actual joint venture partners. And they can communicate with our office anytime.
Now, that structuring in regards to corporate guarantees, it's basically a no-brainer. And I know a lot of people that want to get involved with that type of real estate investing in regards to corporate guarantees. And, you put in the property under contract, and you do your due diligence. And as long as you got the proof of funds and knowing what to say, and also making them feel comfortable to want to do business with you, and you got those proof of funds, you can actually get those big transactions closed.
Yes.
Now let's talk about dark tenants. Now, can you still generate money? Let's just say if the tenant decides to move out once that lease is up.
Okay. So let's talk 10 years later, right? So what happens 10 years later? So 6 months before the lease expires, we put it in the leases. The tenant that has been there for 9.5 years is supposed to email us as the landlords and saying, hey, listen, Cherif, we've been paying you for 9.5 years. We've been paying the property maintenance, property insurance, property taxes, etc. And we now want to renew. Can we discuss what the renewal fee is going to be and how much for another 10 years or 5 years extension, etc.? Or they can say, we're not interested to renew, we're going to leave. So it's one of two things. They're going to want to renew and discuss terms, or they're going to want to leave. Now, the beauty is they have to let me know in advance. I don't need 6 months to line up another tenant, because all I need to do is start smiling and dialing. There are national tenants that are growing, and I start calling them. And I start saying, hi, I got a place that has been occupied by XYZ company for so many years. They remodeled the space. It's operational. Are you interested in coming in? And now the lease is going to be X. So now if Subway is leaving, I can get another food operator that sells sandwiches like a Quizno. If an ice cream place is leaving, I can get maybe Ben and Jerry's and say, this is set up for ice cream with all the refrigeration. They increased electricity and all this. Would you be interested? So their cost for tenant improvement will be better, will be lower. They already can build on the existing clientele plus the clientele that is loyal to their brand. So it gets easier. Actually, I can give you a situation. In 2009, I lost, in one of my buildings, I lost Puma Corporation. You know, Puma The competition is Adidas and all this. And they called me, they said, listen, we want out. So they had signed a lease for 10 years. We were a couple of years into it, and they called me and they said, we want to cancel the lease. Now I had a corporate guarantee, and the lease was $20,000 a month. To cancel it, they had to pay me $1,057,000 just to cancel the lease and get out. And
wow.
They gave me 60 days. They said, okay, we're going to give you 60 days notice. We need to leave in 60 days. We know we have to pay you, but we have another 8 years. Is there any way you can discount what we owe you and we cash out? Because they have a corporate guarantee. I can go after their corporate office, publicly traded company, and Wells Fargo, which was the bank guarantee. So make a long story short, I said, hey, listen, they offered me 571,000, some weird number. I said, no, I want $1 million. We went back and forth, and a couple of times I said, listen, you don't pay me, stay. You're stuck. And in the meantime, I was smiling and dialing. In 2009, if you remember, the market was very bad, but there were some tenants that were growing because you still need to eat, you still need to have some clothes, etc. And who was growing at the time was Crocs. And Crocs came in paying $22,000 a month, paying more than the previous tenant. I received $1 million cancellation fee. They left, and Crocs came in right after. And all they did change the awnings. I've done even some interviews where I showed the pictures of the properties, 211 Cristo Street. I give the address, I show the numbers, I show the backup of the cancellation, the $1 million check and everything. So sometimes they want to cancel. The downside is an upside. If they want to extend, beautiful. They will pay me more because there is devaluation of the dollar. There is inflation. So they were paying, let's say $8,000 a month. 10 years later, with the escalation, now they're paying $11,000 a month. Now, if they leave, I can charge somebody 12. If there was a lot of inflation, maybe I can start charging 13. You see, as a matter of fact, in that structure, everything people complain about works to your advantage. People say, there's a lot of inflation in the US. They're printing so much money. What are we going to do? It's beautiful. Because if I borrowed $1 million from the bank, through the years, as the debt gets paid down by the tenant, it decreases in amount and in value. The dollar buys less over many years. So I am happy with the inflation. Heck, I go to church and I light candles for each one of my buildings. God, let there be more inflation because I can charge more rent when the leases renew. The building's replacement cost is even higher. Once you get
when they wanted to cash out, you basically, under the corporate guarantee, they was locked into that legitimate contract. So the only way they can get out, they had to basically pay you guaranteed dividends.
Yes. If you learn how to do the corporate guarantees the right way, even if they file bankruptcy, you got to get paid because they can't escape from certain obligations. And heck, it's no problem for me. If they want to cancel the lease, we're just going to negotiate how much to get out and just give me 60 days. I can line up another tenant in 30 days. And what do I tell another tenant? Hi, my name is Cherif Medawar. I have this location. I have this. Here's the video. Here's this. Here's this. There's a whole list of things we tell them to attract them. Their survival is based on their expansion. Do you think Subway would have gotten to the Subway level if they were not expanding? Do you know that Subway puts a franchisee, like they sell the franchise for $150,000. People pay them so they can open a store to make sandwiches for strangers. And they give us a corporate guarantee on that franchisee. So if the franchisee doesn't follow their rules, they kick out the franchisee, put another franchisee in that same space, and I own the building. I'm sitting here in Cancun making money. I'm in Cancun. Look, here is my place in Cancun. I own part of a hotel here. Today is another beautiful day. Look at the outside. Is that beautiful? See the beach there?
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. I'm sitting here in Cancun. I'm training the people. They can make the money with me. I'm offering locations for tenants that were vacant. The tenants come in, the community's happy because now they have a good tenant. They're employing people. The bank is happy. They give a loan with a corporate guarantee and everybody's growing. Real estate is a game with no opponents. Everybody's growing together. And instead of looking at a space that is vacant and saying, oh my gosh, the area is going to hell. Oh my God, look, these people are leaving. Think creatively. Who can I bring in here? I challenge your listeners today, after they finish this call, wherever they're going to drive, they need to start looking. If you see that single tenant, standalone building, sitting vacant, start thinking, who are the neighboring tenants? Who can I bring in there? Do I know what to do? Do I know what to say? This call can take at least 1 to 2 people that will take it seriously. They will take their financial level to another life because one deal can change their life. The first deal, they assign it to my fund. Second deal, they're doing it on their own. They have money, they'll have experience, they have access to my proof of funds, they have access to the letter of intent, all the documents, all the resources. How do you think I got success stories? For my good looks? No, for the results.
Wow. You are a outside the box entrepreneur, and you are success driven. And I hear the passion that's coming through your voice with the corporate guarantees.
Thank you.
And I can actually see this real estate blueprint really, you know, excelling to the next 100 years when you're no longer here and people still following that blueprint. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. And that's what attracted me to you.
Thank you.
When I looked at your phenomenal videos and you was talking about single tenant corporate guarantees. And a lot of people are very impressed by what you do and how you do it. But I know you had some coaching along the way to where you are today. And
Yes.
I have people in my network where they really are eager to learn. So let's just say, you know, people that want to come under your tutelage and they say, listen, look, Cherif Medawar, I like the corporate guarantees. You know, can I actually get, you know, some one-on-one coaching with you? Not only that, can you actually just show me your blueprint on how I can actually close a single tenant real estate commercial transaction deal? What would you actually say to them in regards to coming under your tutelage?
Yes, absolutely. And actually we not only give them the actual blueprint, but it's proven to work. I am the evidence of it, and it's very simple. So when somebody want to teach someone else something, look at them. Is this mentor of mine, is their program simple? Is it doable? And have they produced results with it? Now, I am the proof it works. I show people, and I don't go fill up like 100 people at a time for the training. The training usually has about 10 people each time I do the training. So this way they can ask the questions. Many of them have taken the class. Like when they enroll, we immediately give them access to the website so they can watch the videos. So when they come to the one day with me, they actually have some real questions. Okay, Cherif, this happened, and this live examples. I show them videos to show them how to make the video. It's very detailed because our interests are aligned. I want them to get the right building because it makes money for my fund, it makes money for them, and it makes money for me. I get paid same as I assign to them. As the fund manager, I get that amount. I pay them 40, I get 40. The rest goes to my fund for my investors. Extremely powerful. And actually, I want to add something. It's COVID-19 big time right now. Who is growing? I'll tell you who's growing. The QSRs. QSRs are quick service restaurants. Right now, we have been so busy from May 12th. I can mark that date specifically. From May 12th till now, I get 2-3 calls per week on Zoom like this, where I have one of my joint venture students and a tenant representative and myself, and we're negotiating on a location. Why? They're growing. They've been doing fast food. They have drive-throughs, and they've been netting a lot more per month than I've ever netted before because they have less expenses on labor. So they realize it's their opportunity to lock in good leases for 10 and 15 years coming in. And the sellers of buildings that are not gouging us with prices right now, we're able to get a building that we used to get at 600 to move it to $1 million. We're able to get it at 500 and move it to 950. So we still have a very good spread, but we're getting them lower. So we're able to charge the tenants slightly less, which is making it very attractive. And we've done deals in small towns and outside Kansas City. Like I've never even heard of these names of the cities, to big places like San Francisco. And we've had incredible momentum with it.
Cherif, I appreciate you coming on my show today, because the whole premise of my show is to educate entrepreneurs and business owners that they can live the life that they truly desire, but they have to be open to these important principles. So I don't like what I see what's on the news, so I create my own news. Cherif, let's have a conversation about using video. Now, I know a couple of years back, Google bought YouTube for $1.6 billion. So video is hot right now. Can you explain to the audience the power of using video, and should entrepreneurs and business leaders use video to expand their brand?
Oh my God, what a great question. I wish more people asked that question. I give you an example. People on LinkedIn, I have like 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. We got, I don't know, thousands on YouTube channels, etc. And people would like reach out to me on LinkedIn, say, oh my gosh, I have such an incredible thing I want to share with you. Can you please schedule a time with me? There's no way I'm going to schedule a time with somebody I've never met and all this. I am very focused with my time as to what I'm going to do. First of all, I have what makes money. I have my asset protection, my tax reduction through a tax incentive with Congress down to 15%. I got my strategies. I got my syndications, my funds. I'm not gonna. So my response is always, because I'm always willing to listen. My response is always, can you send me a video clip, 5 minutes of what you're presenting? And do you know that 99% of the people respond by saying, I don't have a video of what I'm presenting. I mean, are you kidding me? What are you selling? What is your contribution to the world that you want to share with me on the phone? And why am I going to get with you on the phone? What are you going to say? You're going to ramble on, or you're going to send me a succinct video? Like people ask me, hey, tell me about your asset protection. Let me send you a 3-minute animation video. It's entertaining, it's educational, and you will make a decision on the spot. And by the way, you're going to click on my website, KMAGB, kissmyassetsgoodbye.com. There is frequently asked questions, 45 pages of frequently asked questions. There is no questions I couldn't answer on asset protection. And then, so when they click and say, I'm interested, they're going to ask me a question I did not answer, and I'm going to add it to my frequently asked questions, or they're going to say something I need to add on a video. So it makes me, for my brands, a lot more effective, and it makes them more efficient in their decision-making. So that question you just asked, if every person listening, whether they're selling life insurance, whether they're selling cars, whether they're selling a home, renting a home. I saw this guy having an apartment building, and he's telling me he's advertised all over the place. He's not able to attract people right now. I asked him, do you have any videos on YouTube of your 1-bedroom and your 2-bedroom units that you have vacant? He said, a video? No, I don't like to talk in front of a video. Okay. Don't talk in front of the video. Just hold the camera and say, hi, my name is Cherif Medawar. They don't even have to see you. And here is my, the entrance. Here is the front desk area for my apartment building. Let me take you to the courtyard. Here is the pool area. Let me take you to the 1-bedroom. Here it is. You can see this, and load it up to a YouTube channel. When people call you or call your office for this, you send them that video. Guess what? Let the video do the selling. It's unreal that people are still trying to do it. And they think they're very advanced because they're using email. It's just mind-boggling. So anyway.
So once people like you, respect you, and they feel as though they know you, that's when their minds are made up and they want to invest in you because you are your brand. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes, absolutely. Even for my real estate fund, on the sfifund.com, I did a 14-minute webinar, video presentation explaining what the fund does, what we invest in, why are we different than others, and then here is how if you want to invest, where you click and what you do. And I invite people to think, if I may, give them a blueprint for this as an idea here. You have to have a business plan in your mind, how to talk and all this. So the way you do it is, the summary is, here is what we do. Here is what's in it for you. Here's what you should do about it. So somebody's going to present themselves for 20 minutes. They lost the audience already. So again, here's what we do. Here's what you should, how it's going to benefit you. Here's what you should do about it. Like for you, Arthur, you can say, I interview powerful people who have expertise and experience that's very unique that can help others. What's in it for you? You're going to learn in 1 hour interview all the succinct things that people did, their mindset, the blueprint, what they took, and where they are in life, and how that's going to help you in less than an hour of your life. Better than reading a full book. Number 3, what you can do about it is join me on the website, join me here, join me there, pay for this, do that. You're providing value, and then you're going to attract the world. In a very simple, 3 succinct questions. Now, when you write a business plan, you follow what I call the 5 Ps. Like if you're going to draft a syndication, somebody tells me, Cherif, I want to learn with you one-on-one, whatever it costs. I want to just go out there. I want to create my own syndication. I want to raise money. I want to go buy single family home, rehab them and sell them, buy apartment buildings. How do I do it? Write the business plan. 5 steps. The people. Who are the people involved? The product. What kind of projects? What kind of properties? Number 3, positioning. How are you different? what is so different about your apartment building or your hotel, your assisted living facility, your single tenant building? What's so different about it? The location, the layout, etc. Number 4, what's the performance? When people give you the money, what's going to happen with the money? What performance? We're going to, conform this to that. We're going to change the 1 bedroom, open them together to 2 bedroom. We're going to make the hotel, bigger. We're going to do this. What's the actual performance? And number 5, what's the profit? You're going to give me 100,000 minimum. I'm going to pay you 6%. Okay. So now the people, the project, the positioning, the performance, and the profit. People need to write this. If it takes you more than an hour, you don't know what you're doing. You need to go back and revisit. Maybe you don't have enough profit. Maybe you can't pay out. Maybe you're not clear on what the performance is going to be. Maybe you don't even know the positioning and you realize this is not the property for me. And when people are organized, they can produce. If they're not even organized in their own thoughts, how are they going to organize their work? If people don't have money, they are not organized and they don't know how to present their ideas. And that's what I do. I help people organize their paperwork to raise money and organize their presentation to be able to pitch. And they can see the perfect example on sfifund.com, where I talk for 14 minutes with all these details, but presenting my product, presenting my world to them. And it attracts people, and that's how they grow, I grow. And it's that symbiotic relationship of exchanging values.
Cherif, these are golden gems. This is golden wisdom that entrepreneurs and business leaders need to hear.
Thank you.
And I always say that you're one relationship away from someone turning your whole entire life around in regards to abundance mindset, in regards to money, and in regards to building great relationships. Let's have an in-depth conversation about being an entrepreneur. Now, the word entrepreneur means entreprendre, and it was a Latin word, and it was invented in the 15th century in France. Yeah. And a gentleman by the name of John Baptist, he invented the word, and over 300 years later, that word still exists, which is entrepreneur. So entre means between, and pendre means to take. So it means to take lower productivity and increase it to higher productivity. Can you explain to the audience, how are you increasing your productivity in your businesses?
Very, very important concept. So to produce, you start by getting organized. So you got to say, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? What is the final valuable product that I'm trying to get out there to the world? And then you work backwards. Okay, so to get this product out there, so to get a syndication to raise capital, to get a joint venture property, single tenant building, what is it that I need to do before? What is it that I need to do before? What is it? Until you get to who are the people that I need to get around me so they can help me get it done. Now, once you get the people, the most important thing is to create what I call the fast flow communication system, whereby, so I am here, under me, there should be a bunch of people, and under them, some other people. And they don't all have to be on the payroll. You can be having a broker. You can be having a mortgage broker. You can be having an escrow agent. That's part of the team. But the key thing is you want the communication lines to come from these people down here through what I call the terminals. That means somebody's going to terminate the conversation before it comes to you. That's a principle of efficiency, because if every little decision has to be made, flows through the communication channels all the way up to the top, I'm going to have bottlenecking. I'm going to be overwhelmed. I'm going to be exhausted. I don't want that. I want to free myself to step back to create. When you create, you're bringing something out of nothing. This is like in the Bible, it says, you have been created in God's image. If people understand that, it says, you can do what I've done and greater things you can also do. What did Jesus mean by that? I'm sorry to get so spiritual and religious about it, but if you think about it, even Einstein said the power of imagination is more important than intelligence. Why? Because when you create, you come up with ideas. If you have a problem and you sit down, write all the possible ideas for solutions and you let it flow, the first 10 ideas may come fast and then it gets hard. And I'm not saying practical or reasonable ideas, any ideas, all the crazy ideas. Next thing you know, the problem becomes reduced to its proper size. And now you're able to become more effective. And same when you have a structure of people and you say, this is how communication is going to flow. You're in charge of, let's say, the real estate division in Puerto Rico. You're going to be in charge of all the properties to lease them and to maintain them. And under you, you have this person for the maintenance, this person for the leasing, and the leasing person is going to have to put the marketing, and you do the assignment of responsibilities and duties, and you do the follow-up to enforce that is being done properly and on time. And you have the structure. People that are down here, you have to terminate with the person in charge of these buildings. It doesn't have to come to me. So I can periodically, once a week, just do a conference call on Zoom, or even on a conference call by phone, or go visit the location once a month and say, okay, guys, give me the updates. Tell me the statistics. Tell me the numbers. Let's measure and manage. And once you do that, you're able to become more effective and you'll be able to grow an organization. So it is, in the beginning, you have, I'm going to give you the 8 steps. In the beginning, you have a strategy. My strategy is going to be, I'm going to buy buildings, I'm going to rehab, I'm going to flip them. Let's say that's the strategy. Next thing you must have is the structure. How are you going to structure it? In an LLC? Are you going to create a syndication and have people invest with you? Are you just going to put it in your name? Or what are you going to do? So once you have a strategy, the next level is the structure. Once you have the structure, you need to have a system. It's what we're going to do first, then this. Even if you sit down, just write it in bullet points. After you have a system and it works and produces results, a lot of people immediately expand. Wrong. Wait. Before you expand, the next step should be automate. Automate is have the people, so the team, bring them the tools, whatever they need. They need cameras, they need computers, they need walkie-talkies, give them the tools and give them the time to actually make it happen. So team, tools, and time, you can now automate it. That means I can step back and the production happens through the system without me being involved at all times. I could be in Cancun. I still got my projects going on in San Francisco. I got properties in Puerto Rico. I got a deal going on, assisted living facilities in Michigan right now. I got so much going on, but I don't have to be personally there. My physical presence is not required because I got the automation. The next thing is expansion. That's when you scale it. You don't scale before you automate. You have one restaurant is doing well. You don't go open 3 restaurants. You're working in that restaurant all day long. You're going to open 2 more. They're going to steal from you. They're going to eat your food. They're going to rob you blind, and you're going to go bankrupt. You don't know what happened. I had a system. It wasn't automated. Once you automate it, you can scale it. And the final step is you have sustainability. Enjoy it. Pass it on to your loved one. Pass it on to the world. Have it grow. So strategy, structure, system, automation. Are you with me on this? Mm-hmm. Scale, and then you got the actual prosperity with the sustainability. I said 8 steps, but it's actually 6 steps. So the thing is, you just work these steps, and that's how you become. Sometimes in the beginning, you have to work efficiently, you have to work very hard, and then you're able to work smart. By working efficiently, that means working very hard. You then know what is the 20% of the work you do that brings 80% of the result, and you're able to move to work smart. Because working hard will give you experience, working smart will give you freedom. And that's what I have. And I'm trying to get people to get there without getting desperate, because there are a lot of obstacles in life, a lot of obstacles. And the ability to step back and think creatively will reduce these obstacles and will actually transform them into opportunity. God gives you what you can handle, not what will stop you. And you get bigger and you get better, and life seems easier. You just got better. And the people with you can grow with you, they don't work for you, they work with you, and the pie grows and everybody benefits. And I know it's hard. Conceptually, it sounds easy, but I tell you what, none of these are too difficult. They're simple. And if you have good relationships and you're really communicating with full transparency, being open and respectful, people will appreciate that and will want to give. And if you give back, you're exchanging in abundance, and that's how you're growing.
Mm-hmm. You said God gives you what you can handle. That's extremely important when you want to adopt the mindset of becoming a successful entrepreneur.
Yes.
Cherif, can you break down layman's terms so the audience fully understand what is the best advice that you have ever received?
Okay, the best advice I've ever received was from Edmond Bessari, the billionaire. He had actually passed away a few years ago, so it's a bit emotional. But anyway, last time I saw him in person, it was in France, and he repeated something he had told me many years earlier. And he said to me, Cherif, it's not in the speed with which you move, it's in the certainty with which you advance. And when you have that certainty, my friend, you're able to plow through life, nothing will bother you, and you realize that that certainty comes from your own spirit, because we know. And when we start doubting ourselves, we can't produce, we can't act. So I remove the doubt, I get to the center of what I'm trying to accomplish, and I go for it. And it's like the sea parts. Even in the Bible, it says, they took the first step and the sea parted. It's not like they waited till the sea parts to take the first step. And that's all about certainty. And you only gain certainty when you gain knowledge, so you're able to anticipate with prediction a certain outcome. When you take action, because as you take action, you self-correct and you reflect and you self-correct and you constantly get better. And when you network with the right people, because you're giving and you're getting, and your world keeps expanding and your potential keeps increasing. It's just a matter of, can you tap into that potential? Have the certainty that you can. It's just a matter of, will you do it? You can do it on your own or with others. What will get you there faster? Because a mentor will give you the shortcut, the leverage, and the actual ability to scale it. So you can do more in one lifetime than other people have done in 10. That's just what happens.
Yes, entrepreneurs and business owners, they have to be willing to learn other people's mistakes so they won't repeat those mistakes. And I always say to my audience that life doesn't give you what you want, life gives you what you see. So you had to have a vivid imagination and, you know, just hone in on your mental picture and pursue what you see, because you will get there, but it's not going to be instant gratification overnight. When it comes to, you know, hectomillionaires and decamillionaires and billionaires, they basically did the due diligence, but they basically honed in on their skill set, and then they leverage off of other people to increase their value. So everyone makes money, everyone is happy, but time is something you can't get back. So you got to focus on freedom, which money gives you freedom, and access is power.
Very well said. Yes. Very true.
Cherif, I wrote down some powerful words, 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. So you can rate them in your own powerful way. You can also elaborate. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Accountability.
You say ability or stability?
Accountability.
Accountability, of course, top 10.
Perseverance.
10.
Value.
10.
Income producing assets.
You cut off a bit. Say again.
Income producing assets.
10.
Family.
10.
God.
10.
Love. Love.
Love, 10.
Corporate guarantees.
You cut off. Repeat.
Corporate guarantees.
I'd say 9.
Health.
10.
Wealth.
10.
Building great relationships.
You cut off. Can you repeat?
Building great relationships.
Building relationships? I'd say 10.
Traveling. Traveling.
Traveling, maybe 5.
Branding.
Let's say 8.
Marketing.
10.
Brainstorming.
9.
Okay, that was good. That was real good. Cherif, can you explain to the audience exactly where they can find you?
Yes. Okay. So best way to find me is to go to www.cherifmedawar.com. Now we're on a Zoom call, so you can see the spelling of my name. C like Charlie, H Henry, E. Edward, R. Robert, I. International, F. Frank, together with my last name, M. Mary, E. Edward, D. Diane, A. Adam, W. William, A. Adam, R. Robert, cherifmedawar.com. They will see all what we have. They will see the phone number for the office. They will see emails to communicate with us on any of the services we do. If they want to invest with me, they will see different websites. I talked about the SFI fund, my presentation there, the JV, the joint venture program. I even have 12 different types of commercial properties that we explain in details in live events, how to find, analyze, control, time the process, and strategize. It's called the FACT system. Has been very successful. When Trump University was in business, they wanted to buy it from us because it was the most comprehensive commercial real estate training. I spoke on their platform, but I did not sell them the program. They just kept it. It's my own. It's my creation. It made me a lot of money, made my students a lot of money. And other than that, watch us on YouTube and Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. I do a lot of sayings and concepts, ideas every day. I share 2-3 concepts or ideas, and that's how they can reach me. And I like to expand my network and meet more people and help as many as I can.
Cherif, you have a lot of powerful marketing strategies, and you use YouTube on a daily basis. And I know Facebook owns Instagram. So I look at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, email marketing, as well as offline marketing. These are delivery systems. So people can basically grasp the content, and then they can write down that content and then put that content in their cerebellum, in their brain, and then execute on that content while taking massive action every day.
Yes.
What mistakes are you seeing that entrepreneurs are making by getting involved with single tenant, corporate guaranteed structures?
The biggest mistake people make is they don't follow up. I give you an example. So they find the right property. They use the proof of fund that I give them. They put it under contract. They start smiling and dialing, and they call so many tenants on day 1, so many on day 2, so many on day 3, and they don't follow up. How about the people you called on day 1? You're supposed to follow up with them on day 2. Now you have to follow up on day 3 with some more. The money is in the follow-up. In almost all businesses, the money is in the follow-up. You can just start it and leave it. So the most successful ones are the ones who follow up and they close the deal. And they follow exactly what I tell them, because I'm telling them, do this. Like I said, casually, use the listing broker who's listing the property. That may be a casual statement, but that can make a difference between a person who follows what I just said and calls the listing broker and put it under contract with the listing broker versus somebody else who hires a broker and says, can you find me this type of property? I'm going to game the system. I'm going to do something better than what Cherif is teaching. Guess what? You using a broker on your own is going to share the commission with the listing broker. The listing broker is not as flexible, is not as responsive, is not as easy to deal with, and the deal is blown, but it's a great property. So every step in the training that I explain why, so they get it and use it. The unsuccessful ones are investing in knowledge, but they don't follow what they learn. They constantly doubt and all. Just use it once and see. Once it produces results, don't tweak it until you know it so well that you can create on top of it. You put your own personality in it. And that's where people fail, is they want to tweak it before they even start.
So people basically, they have to follow the step-by-step plan by following up. So when people become unsuccessful, they become unsuccessful because they don't follow up and they don't follow through. But that's where the money is. That's the power of relationships and relationship building. Yes. Once you follow up and follow through and you deliver that value to that single tenant, that's when they're going to want to keep doing business with you over and over and over again.
Exactly. It's like a recipe. If I ask you, hey, this cake is wonderful, how did you make it? And you give me the recipe and you say, put 8 eggs with flour and mix it with this and put the cocoa on top and put this. Why am I going to try coffee instead of cocoa when I haven't actually followed your recipe, put it in the oven, produced it, tasted it, and said, oh my gosh, it's great. Let me now play with it a little bit. But the first one, The first two, the first three, I'm going to do the recipe you give me because it's a proven result. People who fail are constantly trying to either change things before they actually apply what works, or they get scattered brains. They listen to joint venture of single tenant buildings and get excited about that. Then the next day they get excited about, they get on Bigger Pockets and they start this website and they start saying, oh, I'm going to buy a single family home. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to rent it. And then the third day they want to actually buy discounted notes, and they don't get good at anything. They're all over the place. They're trying to diversify before they even start. So they fail. They have no momentum, and power is in that momentum. And you know, like when you think of what is force, to have force to get things done, in the principle of physics, force is mass times velocity. Mass is the volume of work. I'm going to call 100 tenants, and I'm going to call every day so many I'm going to follow up. You just got the force, and may the force be with you. But you know what? The force is not with you. You bring it. You make it. The force is already within you. So go do it. These people start one thing, stop it, start another. They have no velocity. They have no speed. They have no momentum. They don't get anywhere. And it gets me upset because it's like you could see the potential in somebody, but if they don't do certain things that you know they are supposed to do in their own market, you say, okay, well, you go back and tell them, look, this is what we said. We have to do this. We have to do this, then this. There is a sequence. There is actually certain sequence. You don't go out with a girl the first date and you ask her to marry you. You go out, you get to know her, she gets to know you. Then you go to another date. Then you introduce her to your parents. You meet her parents. Then you know, this is how a relationship evolves. Same with a tenant, same with a broker, same with everything. It's all how to build, how to create the relationship, how to nurture it, and then how to fix it if anything is not going right. And you keep that cycle, and things grow, grow, grow. And next thing you know, you're making things happen.
Cherif, you travel all over the world, and you basically deliver a lot of outside the box value to small audiences about corporate guarantees. And you basically attract hectomillionaires and billionaires that are in your network. From your own experience, can you explain to the audience, what do billionaires and hectomillionaires do on a consistent, regular basis? Unfortunately, non-performing entrepreneurs, they just don't do.
All right. So what billionaires do and very wealthy people do that other people don't is the way they look at two things: opportunities and problems. Because those are the two situations in life. You have opportunities and you have problems. Because as soon as you set up your goals, there are opportunities, there's potential there. And as soon as you start taking action, you run into challenges, obstacles, and problems. In that sequence, challenges is like things you anticipate. Obstacles, things as you advance that are blocking you. You got to come around them, go over them, under them. And then problems, things that stop you. Problem is something, force, counter force. Potential, opportunities are all things in the future that you're going forward. So I give you an example. Somebody who is, that outlook on opportunities is there are none, there is scarcity, I can't find any, I don't know what to do, they're not going to go anywhere. Somebody else could be maybe higher on the emotional scale of life, they're more enthusiastic about life, can say, I can find opportunities, I'm going to look for them. Let me see what criteria I need, what I'm good at. I'm going to actually learn this. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to network for it. I'm going to actually find these opportunities. The multi-millionaires, they're thinking different. I never think I want to find opportunity. I'm saying to myself, I want to create opportunities. What opportunities can I create? Oh my gosh, I can get the tenants to go into these buildings by doing this. Let me test, let me improve, let me tweak it, let me adjust. Oh my God, I got a system. So now I got a strategy, I got the structure, I got the system, I can automate it, scale it, and benefit from it from a long time. So I'm creating opportunities. Billionaires create bigger opportunities that can benefit so many people. Ubiquitous way of looking at life. They take Bill Gates. He said, he saw the software. He said, I'm going to take it. I'm going to license it without an exclusivity to IBM. I'm going to then create this. I'm going to grow it. He's creating opportunities. They're creating it from scratch. Warren Buffett, he said, I'm going to create a fund. His father was in Congress, the only people that can trade on insider information at the time without it being illegal. He set up his own fund. It's the only one of the only funds in the world that pay you zero dividend. You know, when you invest in Berkshire Hathaway, you get zero dividend. You get no cash flow. It's just that you hope that the actual stocks increase. So he created something very unusual. And he was able to grow it because of the reputation of his dad and his continuity. And he's a great salesperson. So how do these billionaires make money? By seeing something, creating something with it, and maximizing that. And when they reach problems, they don't look at, of course, they look at avoiding problems because that's wonderful. But there are some problems you can't avoid. You know they're coming. And when you deal with the problem, how can you solve the problem with finality? But a billionaire, a multimillionaire is not trying to just solve problems. They're trying to transform the problem into an opportunity. So the way you look at opportunity and your own potential is what will make you the most money. But if you get entangled and emotional about a broker who's not responding to you, or somebody who hurt your ego, or somebody who is just being nasty, and that's paralyzing your brain in a glitch, hey, step back and look at the opportunities and how you're going to transform it. That broker you're talking to has a bigger ego than yours. Take it to your advantage. Work with their ego. Tell them how great they are. People cannot resist somebody who admires them. And if you sincerely find something to admire them, sincerely find something to admire them about, and tell them, I like the fact that you called me right away, and I like this, it's going to get rid of the negativity. You don't solve problems by looking at what's wrong and addressing it. Sometimes you solve problems and turn it to your advantage by looking at what's right and enhancing it and validating it. And you can do that with your kids, with your spouse, with your friends, with your enemies, and you can turn things around. Martin Luther King said, the only power in the world that can change and transform an enemy into a friend is love. By telling an enemy, I love you. And what is love other than admiration? I admire this about you. I admire your tenacity in answering me this way. I admire your conviction and this and that. Next thing you know, the person comes around starting to see your point of view, because it's opposing point of views. I want to do this, they want to do that. I want to do this, they want to do that. And once we find the common denominator that we all want the best for ourselves and our families, our loved ones, we will grow together. And these billionaires, and I worked with Edmond Bessari, and he was a brilliant man. Harvard Business School called him the man with two brains. I was privileged to be with him for 8 years. He was a very honest guy, very righteous person. And what's so fascinating and amazing is he had an ability to communicate that dissolved any of these tensions. And he had an ability to create opportunities. He could look at the same thing everybody's looking at, and he just would see something else, would see the potential in people, in projects, and it just transformed everybody's life, including mine, of course, because I was so close to him.
Wow. We covered a lot of ground here in regards to wisdom, knowledge, learning from the billionaires and the hectomillionaires of the world. And you build a strong portfolio in the high-end commercial real estate industry. And this corporate guarantees is a revolution. It's changing the whole commercial real estate industry by storm. And a lot of people is not capitalizing on this opportunity, but the wealthy, they are well known and diverse in these opportunities.
Yes.
From your own perspective, and you provided a lot of value on my show today, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
What is next for Cherif Medawar?
What is next is actually, believe it or not, more of the same. We have worked out the formulas to a level that they're so refined now that to have anything new enter my world, it will be very hard to accept it, because I set up my real estate fund first fund was in 2009 because the market was very bad. If you remember 2009, 10, 11, it was on a decline, and we made incredible amount of money, and we helped many students put from 25,000 to millions of dollars in the fund and grew. So my funds are set up to be stress test. So all I do is I diversify by type of properties. So we have residential high end and commercial single tenant and mixed use and assisted living facilities. We have diversification by location. We have San Francisco, California, Old San Juan, Puerto Rico, and other parts in the nation. We're diversified by style of investing. We fix and flip the high-end residential. We buy, reposition, and hold for cash flow, the commercial. Mm-hmm. So all this stuff that is basically based on 5 steps. Everything I do is the same. It has to fit the following. Mm-hmm. Number 1 is safety. Is the capital I'm going to invest safe? Is everything cross-collateralized and secured against real estate? That's number 1. Number 2, do I have solvency? Do I have cash flow? Cash flow is key. It's the oxygen of the financial life. Mm-hmm. Number 3, do I have liquidity? Am I able to sell it right away? Am I able to borrow against it? Am I able to use it as cross-collateral? Liquidity. Number 4, do I have cash reserves? Cash reserves help you when market goes down, help you when you jump on opportunities if you want opportunities. Mm-hmm. So that's cash reserve. Number 5, do you have diversification? And of course, no fees, steady performance, etc. So safety, cash flow, liquidity, reserves, and diversification. Anything coming in my world got to have all these things. So this is what we teach in the education company. And this is how we do our joint venture. There's safety factors. There's my students either make money or walk away. They have no downside. Mm. In my investments, those who invest with me, and in what I do in my own portfolio, I own a lot of commercial properties in my wife and my name, and we keep them, asset protection, etc. So what's happening next is more of the same. It's growing with a few more students, a few more assets, and giving more to the market by contributing to the greater good.
Cherif, you mentioned Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. I know Warren Buffett business partner is Charlie Munger, and they are value investors.
Yes.
Going into the future, do you see yourself, or are you going to evaluate yourself as being a value investor like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger?
Okay, well, let me define value. Value, in my opinion, in my real estate world, is derived from the future streams of cash flow. Now, and I'm going to marry that to the Warren Buffett concept. And I'm writing a book now with his principles in the stock market. How would they apply to real estate? Because actually many people told me, oh my God, this is exactly like Warren Buffett principles, but you're applying them in real estate. The book is going to be done actually within the next couple of weeks here. And Warren Buffett says, I buy companies for their future streams of income. Well, guess what? I buy commercial buildings for their future streams of income. And the difference is he's in the equities market, we're in the debt market. We can borrow from the banks at 3 and 4%. And the big tenants, we have cash on cash, and we reduce the actual debt paid by actual big tenants with corporate guarantees, or diversified like assisted living facilities where they produce at 50% occupancy, we're still cash flowing. And these run at 90 and 95% occupancy with demand for the next 4 years. So value in real estate is derived from the cash flow. You figure out the cash flow, you know the value. You pay a price. We put a property under contract at this price. But when we bring a national tenant, here is the value. We just added, I didn't have to find a distressed seller. I didn't have to find something off market. I didn't have to go extra creative here. It just listed on LoopNet, on cityfeed.com. It's in your backyard at full value, put it under contract. But when we bring the actual tenant, we added value. And it's very important to understand that difference, because Warren Buffett says, rule number 1, don't lose the capital. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1, don't lose the capital. I say something different because we're in the real estate world. Rule number 1 is safety, don't lose the capital. Rule number 2 has to be cash flow, as I just said. Because Warren Buffett gets people to invest with him, he can park $120 billion, not pay a penny. As soon as you give me money, let's say you give me $250,000 tomorrow, Arthur, in my fund, your interest, I received your money on Monday, your interest starts accruing on Tuesday. So I have to have cash flow. And that's how I'm structured. Safety, cash flow, liquidity, because if people want to cash out, we cash them out. We're very liquid. And we have reserves, and we have diversification. All roads lead to higher safety, higher margin of safety, which is the same principle. And if I may add, Bill Gates, his entire concept from the beginning was, I don't want debt. I want enough payroll for a year to last with the operation in case something happens. Until today, Microsoft has no debt. He's a genius in that structure. I have very little debt in my real estate. I have many properties free and clear. That gives me the sustainability. I have properties with corporate guarantees. This gives me that staying power to be able to ride and survive any bad market and prosper greatly with great markets.
Mm. Well, the Internal Revenue Tax Code is designed for entrepreneurs and business owners. And if you take advantage of the Internal Revenue Tax Code and you have the right CPA, they should put more cash flow in your pocket, which ought to put more money in your bank account. How do you feel about entrepreneurs and business owners increasing their EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization? How do you feel about EBITDA?
Yeah, it's the most important thing is to be able to constantly get the statistics of your key performance areas to be able to know, okay, am I servicing the customers the right way? Do I have higher customer satisfaction? Do I have product integrity? Do I have high employee productivity and morale? Do I have a gain in market share and in net profits? So it's one of four things. If it's only about profits, you're missing out the customer satisfaction, the employee morale and productivity, the product integrity. Something is going to be out of balance. So having the profit is one of four areas to measure, but it is very, very important and key area, because without the profit, you can't service the customers, you can't pay the staff, and you can't maintain the products.
You talked about customers. So happy customers or loyal customers, they keep coming back to you wanting your product or your service?
Yes. The key thing to our growth has been referrals. We don't do as many live events. And for years, most of my work has been just people wanting to come in through referrals because of results they have done, or people want their kids to be trained, or cousin or family member. And then we hold live events mostly in California, Los Angeles market, or San Francisco. We also do Dallas. We love Dallas and Houston markets. So we don't do that many live events. And a lot of the programs, people actually enroll online. Then they come and meet me in a specific market. Either they come to San Juan, Puerto Rico when I go there, or like next week, I'm going to San Francisco to do a training. There'll be 20 people there. These people are trained for one specific product that I have, and they are able to perform and deliver results.
Cherif, I have some critical information that I want to share with you. What's the best number I can text that information to?
I'm sorry, you cut off again. What's the best what?
Well, I have some critical information I want to share with you. What's the best number I can text that information to?
Okay, so, I know Ashley, my VP, gave you a number. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to figure out, there was a text. I don't know if she sent it to you by any chance. Let's see. I want to give a book as a gift to your listeners. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sorry, I lost. There is the actual, I think it's, if they can text Ocean to, I'm trying to get the number if you bear with me. If they can text Ocean to the number 415-200-4842. Just text the word Ocean. We're going to send you a book called Blue Ocean Opportunities in Commercial Real Estate. I explain in that book my history, how I was in the hotel business. I met Edmond Bessari, my life changed, and how I grew into an opportunity to do real estate in a blue ocean. Blue ocean meaning you literally have no competition. You're creating your own deals. You're making it happen. It's not like apartment buildings where people compete, or wholesaling homes, etc., where there's a lot of competition, or small assisted living facilities, just too much competition. In what we do, we have Blue Ocean. It became a bestseller on Amazon, and I want to give it as a gift to your members. 415-200-4842.
Wow. Now, you basically specialize in corporate guarantees, and I wanted to basically introduce you to one of my billionaire coaches. And I can actually see you and him actually really delivering a lot of value to a small group of people in regards to corporate guarantees and business structuring. Would you be open to that in regards to collaboration?
Yes, I'm happy to do anything that can help people grow and make it happen. Absolutely.
All righty. Now, how do you feel about brainstorming groups? I love brainstorming groups. Should entrepreneurs and business owners formulate their own brainstorming groups so they can help pull one another up in regards to increasing their value in their current businesses?
Yes, as a matter of fact, brainstorming, I have a lot of concepts about it and I love it. We've done 2 events in Cancun right here, what I just showed you by the beach, because I own part of this hotel here, and we have a banquet room. So we brought in, I think one event was 15 people, the other was 18 people. And what I had them do is I had them do the following. I say, write for me, what's your business? Real estate or entrepreneurship, whatever it is. What is the potential? What can happen if nothing stood in the way for 6 months? How much money will you make? How will your life look like? And then write down all the obstacles you're running into and bring them to the class and let's brainstorm. What happened was beyond spiritual, I swear. It was unbelievable. People would come up and say, here are my challenges. I have this great business, I have this potential, and these are the problems I'm running into. And everybody would get the sheet, everybody sitting, we were sitting in round tables, and they would look at it. And then everybody they would brainstorm in the table. First, they brainstorm individually, then as a group, then they come up with a list of to-do things for that individual to help them out. What came out was insane. It was so great. People had results in less than 90 days. And people can see, actually, you can go on YouTube and put Cancun event and see the success stories that came up with the Cherif Medawar Cancun event. I mean, they were in tears at the end, because what came out was you have a lawyer and the lawyer will be saying things like, you haven't organized this legally properly. You're not able to expand this way because this. You have a marketing person sitting next to him or her, and the marketing person is saying, you're missing out on the social media this way or the website that way. You have a priest sitting by or somebody who is a very religious person and will say, well, have you tried this? And looking at it from a way of giving people and helping others. Then you have another person who is a banker, and he says, well, have you approached the bank this way for an SBA loan? So all these different backgrounds coming to the person standing in front of the room is what's so amazing. Because like Einstein said, the brain or the mind that created the problem cannot be the same one that will solve it. Now, the only thing I encourage people to do before doing an event like this, like I do these events periodically, and actually we're gonna do one before the end of the year here, because after COVID-19, people need, we're still in COVID-19, but they need that new brainstorming to get out of the problems and be outside the problem, looking at it instead of inside of it. Is I encourage people to also come up with ideas. Because once you come up with ideas, you're able to step out. It's like, how would I tell a friend of mine what to do if it wasn't my problem, but a friend of mine? And all the concepts and ideas that we'll come up with are phenomenal. Then bring it to the audience, let them brainstorm with you. And when we do these events, usually it's 3 or 4 days. We've done one 3 days, one 4 days. The 4 days was more successful. And there is a lot of camaraderie that builds on in day one. So they're more comfortable as we do it. So I love brainstorming, and I'm with you 100%. Anytime you want to do that, I'm game.
Do you have any last pearls of wisdom for the audience?
What last pearls of wisdom is, try to know what's important for you in life. Like the 3 most important decisions in life are very simple, really. Number 1, where to live. Number 2, what to do. And number 3, who to spend the rest of your life with. So where to live, I decided I want to live in multiple places. I have a place in California, a place in Puerto Rico, I have a place in Cancun. So I'm able to travel around. I like to live in multiple places, and I have many bases that I call home. So where to live is very important. If you live in a small town, you're not going to have the same opportunities as you would in a big town. Okay, let's just face reality. I was in Los Angeles at a top hotel called Century Plaza Hotel in Century City, a few blocks away from Beverly Hills. That's how I met a billionaire. I wasn't in a small town outside in the boonies in Canada, in farmland, trying to meet a billionaire. That would have been like an exception of all exceptions. You go to where the opportunities are. I mean, luck, you create luck. So number one, where to live. Number two, what to do, because it's going to affect what you study. People are always trying to find, oh, I'm trying to find my passion, all this. Get with it. There are ways to make money in real estate. Study real estate. Whatever you do, you're going to need to be in real estate. That's what's lasting in the market. Technology advances, things change, pandemics, there is real estate. People got to live somewhere, got to pay for it. Look at futuristic movies in year 3000, they're flying between buildings. The buildings are still there. So let's be real. What you do involves real estate, whether you like it or not. So study it, know it, it's a must. Even if you don't want to do it, you don't have the time, you're an engineer, God bless you with incredible mind for technology, invest in real estate funds. I got a fund going. Look at me compared to others. If you find something better, God bless. But what to do, got to involve real estate no matter what. And number three, who to spend the rest of your life with. You're going to have a spouse, you're going to have a significant other, or you're going to have partners and associates. Surround yourself with people that are not going to drain your energy out. They're going to actually support you. They're going to grow with you and aspire you and inspire you and empower you. And if you're willing to give them, not just to get from them, willing to give, that's going to transform your life. Cracking the code on where to live, what to do, and who to be with will simplify your life to the basic essentials. So God forbid you lose money and you've done everything ethically. You're going to sleep at night. You're going to say, God, if that's meant to be, I'm going to come out of it stronger. And don't despair. Don't ever get desperate. Don't ever feel so bad for yourself. Take it as an opportunity to learn. Nobody had it easy. And if I stand here and tell you about how great life has been and all this, and I'm in Cancun and I have all this, it has not been an easy life. I was working 20 hours a day. That's how he noticed me. But I enjoyed it. And I felt I'm growing, I'm having fun, and I'm helping others. The best formula ever. Am I growing? Am I having fun? Am I helping others? The perfect trifecta to improve and grow and contribute and make the world a better place.
That's a powerful trifecta. And people need to follow that blueprint from A to Z. And what's the best way for me and you to stay in touch?
Well, by email. The easiest way is to email me. You already have my contact with Ashley, my VP, who has been with me since 2003. I have a whole team for great people in Orlando. We have the team in the real estate funds in California. We have my office with 2 lawyers, 2 CPAs, full team in Puerto Rico. So please stay in touch, Arthur. I wish you much success in what you do. You really are amazing. I love your question. You're a great interviewer because you give the chance for me to express myself. Great listener. I've done a lot of interviews. You really are gifted for this. So you're doing what your calling is, I really think. I think you're helping a lot of people with it.
Well, I appreciate you, and I got to get you coming back on my show so we get more in depth about these wealth building principles.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank you once again, Cherif Medawar, for taking time out of your busy schedule to educate me and the audience worldwide about corporate guarantees and about wealth building principles. I gladly appreciate it. You are a gift from God.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. Thank you.
To everyone that's listening and watching right now, I highly recommend getting involved with the phenomenal Cherif Medawar. You hear the passion that came through his voice on my show today. He broke down layman's terms about wealth building principles. He broke down layman's terms about corporate guarantees. And that's a different type of real estate, commercial real estate transaction deals that you can get involved with. And go to his website, cherifmedawar.com. He has incredible content that could take your mindset and your business and your wisdom to a whole nother level. But remember, you have to implement what you learn. Knowledge is not power. Implementation of knowledge, that's what makes knowledge becomes powerful. So to everyone that is listening and watching right now, remember that the strongest asset that each and every one of you have is your brain, and what you think about and what you take action on, that will become your reality, and your mentality creates your reality. May God bless each and every one of you, and bye for now. Thank you, Cherif. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Have a pleasant day, everyone.
Thank you, Arthur. Appreciate it. Have a great one, sir. Take care.